So we've got to figure out what it's going to take to go from here to here. I need to get a good look at that and figure out, I think we can just use this pin. Let me grab my piece of steel. So this is way longer than it needs to be. So we're going to go from about there to about here. So that's going to be our rough length. But for now, we need to get a good look down there. Let me bring it down. We've got this pivot pin right here. It's got the spring on the other end, and there's a bolt with a nut on the top. It's got the hat, and this is the micro switch. Oh, that's nice. That's not tight. Well, we'll fix that. So when you step on the brake, right, you can see it turns this, and this is just a stop. So it looks like, I don't know. What I don't know is if I can get the bar here, which I don't think I can. I think it's going to hit this stop. So I think I've got to go on the other side, which means there's something on there that spins. This spring's got to come off, which I don't really look forward to. See, it looks like there's a nut on the other side, but there's no threads. So I'm not sure what that is, but looks like, I know you can't see this, it looks like there's enough room for that piece of bar to go in there. But I need to get this spring off without causing pain. All right, well, we're back. It's roughly 24 hours later. So part of that was I had a visitor for 3 hours, which was awesome. Grant hadn't seen him in a couple years, so that was really cool. And the other part is I had to figure out, so to get the spring off, I made this kind of janky thing. I just took a piece of 3/4 inch pipe, cut a chunk out of it, stuck him in the hole here, was able to put that in the side of the spring, hold it up and slide it off, and then that actually came out pretty easy, no problem. Still have all my digits and no blood. But to get it back on, that's a whole different story, and I basically had to sleep on it. I dreamed this up in the middle of the night last night, whether it's going to work. It seems like it's going to work. So what we got is, and you can see the springs on here and already tensioned to pretty much the right length. I have not tried to put it in yet, but so what these are, this is some 1.25" square tubing that I've cut a notch out of the top of the size of this the size of the spring, and I welded in a 3-inch long piece of 3/4 tubing, which is really close to 5/8 on the inside. Went up to Home Depot, got a piece of 3/8 all thread or 5/8 all thread, which I already had the nuts, and I had these enormously too big hose clamps, but they tightened down to just enough so that these cannot come winging out of here and kill me, because that spring's under a lot of tension. It's roughly 570 millimeters between the pins. I got this woodworking clamp on there to hold it up right now just so I could measure it, and that seems about right. I did cut this, and I think they're about right. I have to put that in first, so that's why I am stopping to show you this. It's not the jankiest thing I've ever built, that's for sure. And it should work. At least I hope so. If I put it in, I think it's got to go this way, because this side goes up against the pin on there, and this goes to the back. I'm sure at the factory this was easy to get in because these are cast iron. Without the lathe and the tray, they could put the bottom one on and just lift up on it with a little hoist or something, no problem. But in this case, it's just not an option. So we're going to see if this will go in and without killing me or anything else. If you watch this video, I lived, right? Anyway, I've got the pin ready to go in there. When I mentioned earlier, ow, that I felt it, something on there spinning, there was this 10mm nut. It's just acting as a spacer. Well, that's not needed. We need to put our, so we've got to put this arm in there, right? So I've got 8mm holes and a couple of washers, which works out to just almost exactly the right width. So I'm just going to put a little oil on this, put this in, put the cotter pin in along with the strap, and then we'll see about putting the spring on and hoping it all works. So it should be, hopefully it'll work good. We'll see. I don't know how well any of this is going to show up. Because I have to get in here to do it, obviously. And so I just got turns out my dead blow hammer holds this almost all exactly in the right place. So that all fits. Now, the question is, can I get this in here? So there's the top on, just sitting there. That's really close. So the other thing we could try, which actually might work better, is to take this pin back out, wiggle it in the spring, and then just put it through the hole. Because we don't have to hold the, where's our stupid other pliers? Okay, so I'm going to take that out. And drop both washers underneath the lathe. There we are. So we can wiggle this into the spring. That's easy. Now, we put a washer and we put our arm, which should hopefully line up. All right. Okay, so that's pretty much lined up. Oh, oh, oh! Merry Christmas! I'm not even religious. All right, the spring is attached on both ends, and I need to get another cotter pin because this one's been bent twice, so I'm just going to get a new one real quick. I know I was probably in the way for all that, but you can see, well, maybe not, the hose clamp's in the way. Anyway, so that bottom is on. I just got to put a new cotter pin in it. Okay, now what we need to do is release tension on this, and because the end pieces, the springs are not extended. So as I release tension, which I can actually apparently do with my fingers, or pretty near. Okay, so that end is free. That's free. There we go. We are. All right, the whole thing is free. Let me go get a nut driver, get these hose clamps out of here, and that's going to be done. That worked. It worked exactly how I hoped it would, but you know, one off. And these hose clamps are folded over on these. I've actually got to cut those, no problem. But that's it's not a big deal. Let me get seriously long hose clamps. I don't know where I got them or whatever they were for, but they worked out just right. Because when they were closed down, they were the right size, and I didn't have to go buy them. So there we are, our little thing. I mean, so my welding is not Instagram welding, let's put it that way, but it is sufficient for this. So you can see it's got a half. I just cut this as a 1 inch, used a 1 inch end mill, popped a 3/4 hole through here. Used a, what do you call them things? I don't know, whatever. I used something to cut a hole. I can see annular cutter. I can see the box over there. Anyway, yeah, I just used an annular cutter to pop that in. Just cut these on the bandsaw. I did over weld a little here on the end. I'd take a grinder to it, but overall, not bad. And I cut this after the length was, oh, my head's not in the way, after the length was pretty much known. And I did have to run a die down this because, you know, it was all janked up. It was Home Depot. The threads were all buggered, but you know, it's totally sufficient. It's not like it had to do this more than once. So that's on there. Everything fits. Everything clears. Let's see about the top half. Anyway, when the spring is all the way up, that is pretty much dead neutral, which is perfect. I think that we're good there. Let me step, I gotta put a spring snap ring on here still. Let me step on this. So yeah, you can see that actuates it really good. Let me get the caliper. Okay, so I think this was 108 or so. Yeah, 108.3. And we need 110 to engage the drum. So let's step on this. That goes out to 112. Perfect. It's right dead in the center. And as you can hear, I'm stepping on stuff. So let me clean up. What's next? I think all we really got to do is put the screw in here and one over here to hold the thing on. We'll put the key in, put the pulley on, put the belts in, fill it up with oil, and see if it all works. But I am delighted with that for right now. Looks like that's gonna work just right. Very nice. And of course, you know, it's still got the micro switch to disengage the VFD so that it doesn't try to stop the lathe while the motor's running. I think we're good. Let me put these screws in here and I'll bring you back. Somebody needs to watch that. Okay, I got the cable thingies tied back on. I've got the panel on the side. Put the snap ring on here so I didn't forget. I've got the keyway facing up. I think we're ready to put the pulley back on. And I've already cleaned the inside of this, so that should, whoop, almost forgot the key. So that should be good. And hopefully the shoes are centered up enough to where this will go right on. Get in there. There we go. It should be good. Trick is getting this lined up good because it was tight and it won't really, you know, turn once it's on there. So I'm gonna get the keyway lined up as good as I can, which I know you can't see with my big head in the way, but that looks pretty good. Yeah, I think we're okay. Now I don't want to hammer on this thing. Okay, we're going to use another nut in the washer just to take up some of the space. Oh, at least it didn't go under the lathe. Ah. That seems to be, there we go, it's going on nice. I think it just found the key. Okay, I think that just bottomed out, but we are over the brake shoes, so we're clearing the shoes. That's really good. Let's see if our shorter one will work now. Yeah, here's the end of the shaft. It's almost up against the pulley. So I think we can put our main bolt and washer in there and call that done. And this should just provide its last little bit till this hits the end of the shaft, which it is. Oh, I got a brake. Let's try that. Look at that. That brake stops it cold, and I don't hear any drag when the brake is off. Well, that is exactly what we were hoping for. So I'll put the belts on, adjust the motor tension, which is a crap job. There's just no way around it. It's a crap job. Because this motor doesn't pivot, it just slides up and down, so you basically got to support the weight of it to get the belts on. How did I do this last time? I might have put a block of wood in there or something. Anyway, I'm almost out of battery. I'll bring you back. Hi. Well, we're all done. It's been refilled with oil. I've been letting it run for a few minutes at 200 RPM just to warm up the bearings and the oil a little bit before I try to apply the brake at high speed. But it absolutely, at least at this speed, it stops almost instantaneously, as you can see. I mean, it's just basically stop, instant stop. So I would say that this is a very happy ending. I'm quite satisfied with the result. You know, you could have done it a little cheaper, but I didn't know what was needed. I got about 150 bucks in this, including shipping from Shanghai. So not too bad. Like I said, if you're going to do this yourself, you could figure out the dimensions and knowing that they'll all work. And like the brake shoes are what I say, SG 125. That's the part that really matters. You're going to have to figure out, you know, how to do the strap, and that's easy. Just get it the right length. Fighting the spring is a huge pain in the butt, but the tool worked really well. Anyway, let's run this up to 1,000 RPM and see how fast it'll stop. It's 1,000 RPM. I don't have my phone with me. I don't even know where my phone is. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot faster than the 1.5 seconds it was before. Ready? Yeah. And then that hits the reset because, yeah, we power braked it, basically. But yeah, it's all good. No problem. And the nice thing is now when I go to use a collet, I can just step on the brake. The chuck will not, the spindle's locked. That was the goal. That's the real goal. Not so much to stop it most of the time. It's fine. I can wait for it a second to coast down. Being able to lock the spindle, that was worth all the trouble and the cost. So anyway, we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.